Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back!
You see, you push the laws and you end up dead.
As a huge fan of the horror genre, I can be the first to admit its painstaking adherence to horror rules and tropes. Mask, choice of murder weapon, and of course, darkness. But Ari Aster's follow-up to Hereditary reminded me that, when done right, a director can throw out the rulebook out the window. The trailer to Midsommar is bright and airy, and filled with people singing, dancing, and up to no good.
We just need to acclimate.
I don't want to acclimate, I want to go.
Absolutely not.
Horror in daylight has been done before, and today I wanted to explore how different films subvert the trope of nighttime, and what we can hope to expect in Midsommar, as it terrifies us in broad daylight. Many horror films treat daytime as a sort of safe space, where our protagonists are given a break and a chance to breathe.
How do you gut someone?
You take a knife and you slit them from groin to sternum.
Characters can be stalked or threatened during the daytime, but the climactic scenes are left for the dark. The morning in horror films is a safe space that signifies the worst is over, like the endings in 30 Days of Night and many other vampire movies, and the endings in the Purge series.
Did you hear what I said? No more killing tonight!
Once day breaks in these films, the threat is pretty much eliminated. This scene from 2017's It perfectly summarizes the daylight trope in horror. In daylight, Ben is in the library reading books for the sake of plot exposition. Things only get creepy. Ben is then lured into the darkness of a basement, and things finally go full-blown scary. Again, daylight is a safe space while darkness is danger. But like many great rules of horror, they are meant to be broken, and some directors find horror in the daylight.
Why are you doing this to us?
Brian Bertino's The Strangers ends at the break of dawn, but the horror doesn't end. The intruders take off their masks to let James and Kirsten know it doesn't matter if they see their faces at this point. They then begin to systematically stab them.
Oh, fuck. Call an ambulance.
And who would forget the opening of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, where the morning kick-starts the horrifying nightmare of the running zombie. Imagine waking up only to realize your neighbors are trying to eat you. Yeah, this one's messed up. One of my favorite daytime scares is the red-faced demon in Insidious. The scene is the perfect example where you can achieve an unsuspecting scare in broad daylight. Lorraine sets the mood and builds suspense with the horrifying retelling of a demon stalking her young child. Your guard is also down because of the setting, a well-lit room with a group of people. What can possibly go wrong? Then we come face to face with the culprit.
I can still hear that voice.
The suspense of the story, coupled with the unsuspecting setting of broad daylight, makes the appearance of the demon that much more startling. By the end of the scene, the audience understands that daylight is no safe space, and it too carries its own demons.
It's like another world.
From its trailer, it looks like Midsommar is also subverting the trope of day safe spaces, like others before it. Many of its scenes of suspense and horror take place in broad daylight. So rather than relying on monsters that hide in the dark, Midsommar can prey off more psychological fears. A grotesque monster in the dark can easily be discerned as a threat. On the other hand, films that take prominently in broad daylight tend to toy with paranoia. Is there a real danger, or is it all in your head? The cinematography in Midsommar is reminiscent of the ending of the first Nightmare on Elm Street. They are both overexposed and dreamlike. You begin to feel a sense of paranoia when the uncharacteristic fog and happiness in the air sets in.
I guess I just slept heavy. Okay. I'll see you. See ya.
Is it all a dream, or are they in danger? But then the car begins to move on its own, and by the time they realize what's going on, it's too late.
Looking good, girl.
But the biggest comparison is with 1973's The Wicker Man. The film and Midsommar both parallel in creepiness. The Wicker Man follows Sergeant Howie as he investigates a community on a remote island of Summer's Isle. His suspicion of foul play grows with each passing ritual he finds especially odd and sacrilege. The Wicker Man again carries a sense of uneasiness. There isn't any immediate danger, something just feels off. Sergeant Howie slowly builds a sense of paranoia throughout the film, but cannot fully commit to a conclusion. Much like the ending of A Nightmare on Elm Street, by the time Sergeant Howie puts the pieces together, well, this. The horror in Wicker Man, and possibly in Midsommar, is the steady decline of trust in the weird and unusual communities. A decline that eventually grows into an anxiety-inducing paranoia. Midsommar has its fair share of odd rituals and whatever this is, to subvert nighttime and to make daytime scary again. Daylight hides obvious monsters, but taps into deeper psychological fears of paranoia and the anxiety of what's really going on.